I just wanted to have deep, impactful conversations, and I wanted to help people. And I was talking to my therapist, and I was like, well, if I stay on this show, I will have deep, impactful conversations. And I think I'm going to impact and help more people than I would if I was just a therapist. Like, Alex is reaching millions of people a week.
Yeah. That was like, I will never forget. I almost wanted to start crying where Lauren came to me and was like, it just clicked for me.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much we can do with this show, and there's so much work to be done. And especially, you had said like the direction I already feel you pulling it in.
The show was changing.
Yeah. And it just felt like, holy shit, let's do this.
Yeah. Like, it was kind of all like the stars were kind of like aligning in like a weird, beautiful way.
And in that moment, we weren't like, let's do this for the next 10 years. It really, again, was kind of like, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Because again, you were so young. We were like, Lauren, if in 2 years you decide you don't want to do this anymore, you can still go get your PhD.
Yeah.
Like, so
I think I was like 27 at this point.
Yes. So there was time. And again, just for context, Unwell, the company hadn't been started. It was still just me at Spotify. And so we started.
Yeah.
And I remember offering you, where were we when I offered you your salary?
I remember exactly where I was. I was sitting at my kitchen table and I almost fell out of the chair.
I literally remember being like, okay, so I'm going to give her like a full-time salary. You're my only employee, basically. So I was like, and I went in and I like pitched you and you were like,
yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure, Alex. And we just started. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about how you first started. Because I think now being able to say, like, you are the head lead producer of this show.
I did not start there.
She did not. So when Lauren came in, you really took on the research role. Mm-hmm. So a lot of what Lauren was coming in and helping me do was, there's so much information, obviously, about the guests that I will be interviewing. And Lauren was a beast with research, because that literally was
like my master's degree for clinical psych. I was just cranking out research and cranking out papers. So like, I can research and I can write.
And so then talk to people a little bit about like what your first position was and like what you did.
So if you had a guest on and the guest had an autobiography, I would read the autobiography, essentially turn it into a book report and present to you and like brief you on the person's life. And then I started getting like more systematized, and like I made you like a research system where like I made like a memo where it like breaks out like fast facts about them, put their life into a timeline, put in angles I think you'd be interested in, put in things I think you should avoid talking to them about. And I would kind of like talk to you about the person and like I would just brief you on the person and kind of pitch to you like what I think would be interesting for you to talk to them about.
Yes.
And that was kind of the start of it.
Slowly, it has completely changed in a beautiful way. As my Spotify career continued, we then started Unwell. Mm-hmm. And once Matt and I started Unwell and our company started to grow, Lauren and I recognized that there were so many more tentacles of the business that I was being involved in. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I need you to take on a bigger role for Call Her Daddy. And so what that looked like was Lauren started now to, in researching, she would write the full first draft of the interviews instead of me now. And so she was doing the research and she was writing these episodes. And then she was also helping me with all of the social media organization. So I would have a vision of how I wanted to roll. I'm very specific about how I want to roll out who the guest is, what I want the teasers to be, what I want the promo to be. And so Lauren would start working with our editors on crafting the promo, writing a script. This is what the promo should say. This is at the time that this needs to get uploaded. Like
at that point, I started like kind of touching everything.
Yes. And finally, I think once we realized we needed more people on our team is really when you took the next jump of your career, which was we found truly one of the most talented writers I think we've both ever worked with.
We stole her from CNN, from the news world.
Shout out Chase.
We love you.
And she came on and changed your life because...
I was talking about this like with Chase recently because she was like, I cannot fathom, because now we have more researchers too, which is really helpful because with my background, I make us take the research so seriously.
Yes.
And they were like, how the hell
were you doing this alone? We don't know, but we got.
I would start work at 6 a.m. And probably work until 9 p.m.
And we wouldn't stop. Like, we were obsessed.
Yeah.
But again, we loved it so much that
I never would wake up and be like, fuck my life. Like, I have so much work. Fuck Alex. I was like, this is so exciting. We have 3 interviews this week. I have 3 books to read this week.
We got to get it done.
3 interviews to write this week.
And so finally, once Unwell was up and running, I think it was very clear now that we needed to yet again reconfigure and systematize, because we now do have an editor on Call Her Daddy. And although there are some weeks that I'm like, I will be personally editing this, like, for example, the Kamala Harris interview, I was like, no one can touch this. I have to edit this on my own. Those are moments I'm still doing final edits or whatever, but we now have someone who's helping with edit. Shout out Alex T. Love you.
Love you.
What I will say is, I think there's a lot of people on the internet, which makes me laugh. Understandably, I get why people would think that, though, again, is because when I signed with Spotify, when I signed with SiriusXM, I think there's this idea that there's these corporate bigwigs who are like handing me the cards and saying, say all of this, and I'm just like this host. And meanwhile, it's like, when you're, for literally my entire Spotify time, when you're reading these questions, it's us. Like, it's us putting this shit together. And now, as we ventured on, it's literally me, Lauren, and 1 to 2 other young women in their 20s, and we're all doing basically a round table. We're talking about what we want the interview to be, and then we've got someone's going to do the research, someone's starting the prelim on like what the interview flow will be. We're doing multiple drafts. We're having Zoom meetings every week. We're going through, oh, I don't like this, let's change this, let's move this up here, this topic should hit harder, let's move this to the front. Like, and then I go and I do the job. Yeah. And so it's so collaborative. It's so rewarding. And the interview process has become such a well-oiled machine, but it's taken a lot of work to get there. So why don't you talk a little bit about what you do every week?
With having Unwell now and you doing so many things beyond Call Her Daddy, I handle anything logistic related to Call Her Daddy. So anyone on the Call Her Daddy team reports to me, and I manage the entire team. And I'm essentially the person who makes sure, from booking to the editor, to the social media team, to the research team, to the interview being written, to communicating with PR reps, to making sure that episode makes it uploaded on time.
Yes.
That I'm handling like everything, making sure everything is happening and everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing, so that now you are purely thinking about nothing besides the creative.
And it's so nice the way that you are able to keep the ship running.
And sometimes you'll have 3 interviews in a week.
Yes. And it's
insane.
Chaos, but it's amazing. And we love it.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I've never felt so fulfilled. Never felt so stimulated. I've never felt like I've done something that's had this much of an impact before. Like, we're saying how like we work insane hours, but like I never wake up dreading my job. I sometimes like wonder like, ooh, like how did I like clock like a 14-hour day yesterday and like not think twice, and like I don't feel burnt out. It's because like I legitimately like love this job so much and I care so much about this job. And I think like one of the coolest things is how much autonomy I feel like I have. I feel like that's like a big factor of like loving my job. Like, I can have a therapy session where I'm like, I just had the best talk of my entire life. And I can be like, Alex, like, I think we need to talk about this. And you're like, okay, go write an episode. Or I'll read something and I'll be like, this is important. Like, go write an episode.
It's such a rewarding process that I think, looking back on the days that I obviously took such pride in doing it all on my own, I think I now take so much more pride on not doing it all on my own, because I think getting to share the joy of what this show does every week with other people who get to be a part of the behind the scenes, it is indescribable, the feeling. Like, I know it sounds sappy, Daddy Gang, but like, getting to give you guys interesting, fun, engaging content every week, and it all is coming from the hearts of us and a few more other young women in their 20s. Like, it's so fucking cool that we are creating these conversations. And it's coming from this like just genuine place of like, we're literally saying some of these ideas are because we were at a dinner and then it turns into an episode that's getting millions of views. I'm like, this is an advertisement from BetterHelp. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have been overworking myself this year. And I decided that this summer, I really, really need to try and relax a bit and focus on just enjoying everything I'm working so hard for. So taking some time to prioritize my wellness is truly the only way that I'm able to go back to work and actually give it my all. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal stress levels. Work is stressful, but we can all start small with a focus on wellness to help make it more manageable, Daddy Gang. Therapy can help you navigate whatever challenges the workday or any day might bring. So, with over 30,000 therapists worldwide, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. They have served over 5 million people globally, and the results truly speak for themselves. The app is rated a 4.9 out of 5 on the App Store based on 1.7 million client reviews. It's also super convenient. You can join a session with a click of a button or switch therapists anytime you need. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/daddy. That's betterhelp.com/daddy. Let's talk also now about, I think, one of the biggest questions that we have gotten online since announcing that Lauren and I work together is, how the hell do you guys have a work friendship balance? Because that just seems like it is a disaster waiting to happen. And I completely understand why you would think that. So let us tell you about it. I think that, like we kind of described in the beginning days when it was just us, we've always been very communicative. And I think, although this may sound weird, once we kind of got our rhythm of how we wanted to work together, like literally of just like, are you getting paid? Are you quitting your job? Okay, now you are getting paid. Now you have a salary.
What is my job role? What are my like day-to-day responsibilities?
Yes. Once that happened, when we're just working, it is the easiest thing in the world. And I will say it is easier than when we were kids. Like when Lauren and I were children, we had such a passion for filming and writing scripts and creating these worlds together. And the two of us, like my mom says in the documentary, when the two of us were in a room, it was almost too much. We both were so creative and passionate. And so we
were staying up until like 3 a.m. like in your dad's closet editing, like as children.
And taking it so serious. And so when one of us had a vision and the other disagreed, we would butt heads more back then, being like, no, Lauren, like that won't keep the viewer engaged. And you're like, but Alex, it looks better if it's like this. We were so much more combative when we were younger. Now it's like, it's just seamless.
I think something that may sound counterintuitive is, I think it's actually easier that there's a hierarchy, and in theory, and we can get into this more in a minute. In theory, you are my boss.
Right.
And I think that does make it easier, because at the end of the day, it's your call and I'll defer to you. It's not like we're like co-hosts, like arguing back and forth of like what we're going to talk about. And at the end of the day, you're the one saying this shit. Like, I'm not going to force words out of your mouth. It's your voice and it's your show. And like, I'm here to help push us forward and make us better and guide you and help you. But I'm not going to tell you your views and beliefs on something.
It's a good point. Like, I feel like you've always been so respectful of, as invested as you are, you know, when it's like, okay, but it is your call. But again, like we're so insimpatible with almost everything. And I never want to get in front of the camera if we haven't talked through something where I'm like, but what do you think about it? And then even if I hear your piece and I disagree with you, I'm going to speak it out to you. And if you disagree with me, I don't think I've ever gotten on camera with us being in disagreement and being like, oh, well, I'm going to say it anyways, ever in my career. And there is, I feel like rarely moments, but there have been moments where the team will say something to me and I'll be like, guys, I totally hear what you're saying, but I'm going to disagree with you guys on this one.